Hello, welcome one and welcome all to my couchon. No, that's pig in French. I mean, welcome to my kitchen. It's not the biggest kitchen, it's not the fanciest kitchen, but it's served me well the last few years and gets the job done. I've cooked many a meal here, so I can't really complain. Well, we have a hob, I have my coffee machine, needed. Have my grinder, so important. And up here on the top of the fridge is where I store the air fryer, the slow cooker, and the thing for making smoothies. Smoothie maker? Blender. Blender. Anyway, yeah, so blender. What's wrong with me? Yeah. Also, I'm filming in this light because it's evening time and the light in this kitchen is one of these kind of lights, which is not forgiving. Excuse my throat. I've had a very sore throat for the last couple of days and it just won't quit. But then again, I've taken like nothing for it, so it's my own fault. Yeah. Also, I'm not cooking now. I don't tend to cook in crushed velvet. But I'm actually going out, but Inyaki's away at the moment, so the house is quiet. So I thought I would do a little introduction for this video now while I can. But yeah, maybe I am cooking right now, you know, lying on the internet. Could be a novel concept. But no, basically I have 2 vlogs outstanding to edit that I want to crack down on. And in the meantime, I thought I would do this one, something different. I thought I would feature food. I cook a lot in this kitchen during the week. Fast, easy, relatively inexpensive stuff. We go out a lot during the weekends and sometimes in the evenings for like tapas for a late dinner. And we have our main meal usually at lunchtime. And I make anything from omelets to empanadas to ramen to tofu, stir fries to whatever. Just to keep things healthy, I think it's good to cook at home. I know like I'm putting loads of vegetables into stuff and we eat a lot of fruit. The kitchen's always full of, I also make sure the kitchen's full of like strong flavors, loads of fresh produce. So I have a lot of good olive oil, I keep a lot of lemon, lime, I have a vegetable trolley there, shallots or shallots, depending how you say it. Lots of garlic, fresh chilies, all different kinds, lots of spices, herbs, potatoes. Of course, it's got to be potatoes. I think the only frozen stuff we have now, you'll see in our recipes, I'm a bit of a cheater when it comes to frozen vegetables, but that's fine. We don't really buy any chicken. We don't have an oven, so we don't have like frozen pizzas or any crap like that. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but we just don't have that. I prefer to buy the fresh produce. I think my favorite frozen thing I have that I eat a lot in the evening is edamame. You can buy bags of edamame here for like $1.50, huge bags, which I'm addicted to. I'll have them for dinner, like a huge bowl of them, and I'm fine. But apart from that, yeah, I just thought I would show you some of the dishes I made over the last couple of days. These are a lot of my go-tos. Really quick, as I said, inexpensive, good for leftovers, good for midweek meals or lunches or whatever. Yeah, hopefully you like them. Maybe they might inspire somebody, maybe they might help somebody. Hopefully they make you hungry, or maybe you just like watching my face on YouTube, which I very much doubt the latter applies. So yeah, thanks for watching. If you have any questions about the recipes, let me know. Goodbye from me and my really tiny kitchen. And if you want a dose of reality, the bag of trash that has to go outside. So, you know, keeping it real on YouTube. Happy eating. Bye. Right, so my favorite thing in the kitchen is probably, ooh, dirty. My favorite thing in the kitchen is definitely my slow cooker. Freaking love this thing. I love to cook, but I also love shortcuts. I am the queen of shortcuts when it comes to cooking, especially during the week when I have less time when I'm working and stuff. So this is a recipe I make all the time. So I start with a can of coconut milk. I got this in Mercadona. And curry paste. Today I've gone with green. You can get red and yellow as well. Obviously you can get these anywhere. This is like €1. All you need is 50 grams, which this is. Yeah, 50 grams. So 1 can of coconut milk and 50 grams of any curry paste of your choosing. I also have the slow cooker on too, which is like regular oven. One is the slow cooking, which I really only use for beef. which I haven't really been eating at the moment, but 2 is general kind of speedy oven, so it doesn't take that long. I would, if I'm doing it with chicken, which I'm actually going to do it with prawn today, but if I do it with chicken, I put the chicken in first and I leave it on for about 4 hours when I've done everything. With prawns, I cook kind of all the vegetables and stuff for an hour and then add the prawns in for the last half an hour. And then when I'm doing it with garbanzo beans, chickpeas, and I just throw them in 40 minutes before serving. So I'll just show you the base now of what I do. It's like the quickest dinner ever. So coconut milk, the entire thing, the cream on the top and the liquid underneath, which looks absolutely vile. Then I put the paste in on top. So that looks pretty gross. Then I add cumin, which is comino in Spanish, a little Spanish lesson for you. I'll add a fair bit of that. This is hard to do with one hand. Then I add curcuma, which is turmeric or turmeric. Lots of that. Dun, 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 dun. I just put black pepper and use salt. I'm using this salt that I got in South Africa. It's brine cooking salt, but it's got nice little interesting bits in it. So then I get my rubber whisk and I literally just do this to get rid of all the lumps and mix it all together. I know it looks really, really gross, like vomit or something, but it will be nice in the end, trust me. Okay, so there's my nice base. And this is what I mean about cutting corners. Frozen peppers. Yep. Frozen spinach. I usually use fresh spinach as the frozen stuff can be a bit watery, but this hasn't been in the freezer that long, so it hasn't got much ice on it. Then I'm going to use frozen onions. Frozen onions, probably my favorite shortcut because obviously cutting onions usually makes the place stink and makes you cry if you do it wrong. But I love onions, but I hate chopping them, so that is probably my favorite shortcut. And I just quickly chopped lots of, well, a handful of mushrooms. Just give all that a stir to get it covered with the sauce. So half an hour. There we go. Not even 5 minutes prep. No mess, no fuss. Everything poured from bags, just shortcuts. I've left that for half an hour. It looks great. Now I'm going to add the prawns. So I buy peeled raw prawns. I think they're the best. This is half a kilo for, I think it was about €7. They're better because you can't really get it wrong. I mean, they're not cooked, which is a good thing. So they come out really nice and creamy and crunchy. So I'm just going to leave this for half an hour. And that's it. In the meantime, I actually added sweet corn. I forgot to record that, but yeah, also frozen sweet corn. And that's it. I just put cilantro on top. Of course, you can serve it with rice or kaffir lime leaves. These are lemongrass. Put them in a few minutes before serving, but yeah, that's it. So today I have filetes de lubina, which is sea bass. So I'm going to make these very simply, just fish and chips, maybe some vegetables on the side. I should probably do that. I'm going to use the air fryer. It seems like I'm shelling all these appliances that people might not have, but the reason we have this is because we don't have an oven. So that's why we have the slow cooker and the air fryer. I'm using this today for the fish and for the chips. Very simple. The first thing I'm going to do with these is I'm going to leave them in a bowl with some olive oil, lemon juice and salt before I use them. I'll be using them in like half an hour or so. So that is lemon juice, olive oil, that braai salt I like with the herbs in it, and pepper. And I'm going to pour it into the little container for hardly any mess because, again, I like convenience. So I'm going to pour it all over these, rub it in, and leave it there for a while. So I rubbed all the fish with the mixture, but I've just put them face down into the liquid so they really soak it up. So here's the potatoes for the air fryer. It takes about 800 max, and this is about 600. To cut them, you usually cut them down this way, and then the edges are obviously round, so I take them off, then put the potato that way and cut them into chips, and then cut the last bits at the end. Our air fryer doesn't need oil put into it. You coat the food with it first. So I'm just going to put a bit of oil on these, move it around my fingers, and put some salt on before I put them into here for 14 minutes. Checking, giving them a shake every once in a while. Okay, so the chips are done. Yes. I'm going to put the fish in now in their place. Obviously, you don't need an air fryer. You can bake these for 20 to 30 minutes in foil. You can fry them, which I was doing previously. Before I had the air fryer, they fry up really nice and crispy, the skin and everything. Also, if I'm doing fish tacos, I usually marinate them in lime juice with chili and coriander and stuff like that, cilantro. So it's really up to you. But I'm just going to put them in now because they don't take long to cook. So I did the chips first. So in they go. It's a little bit tight, but I'll move them around in a few minutes. I'm doing 180 for about 15 minutes and then moving it down to 150 for a few more. And there we have it, a fillet and a half. I feel bad because there's like no vegetables here whatsoever, but we'll just have to have salad this evening because we usually load it up with vegetables. But for now, fish and chips is perfect and it's nice and crispy and the air fryer is super handy. So my next very easy recipe and one I've been making recently. I've been making it recently, but my mom's made it for years and it's so good. And I actually only recently asked her for the recipe. But it's leek and potato soup. And all you need is 25 grams unsalted butter. I'm sure regular butter's fine. 350 grams of potatoes, which really isn't that much. Peeled. I'm going to do that in a second. Then you need chicken stock. You can use vegetable stock too if you want, but I'm using chicken stock. Onion. There I am cutting corners again. This is a frozen onion. I just looked up the weight of an average onion, which is like 140 grams. So I just weighed that out because I couldn't be bothered chopping one. And 2 leeks. You just need the white part. So I'm going to give them a wash now, chop this off, and yeah. I believe the recipe's from a book called Passion for Potatoes. My mom's had it for years. I think she got it in TK Maxx or something like that. But yeah, I better like quote it so we're not like recipe thieves. But yeah, it's the best leek and potato soup ever. It's really easy to make. It's pretty much foolproof. It's relatively cheap. Actually, it's very cheap. You get about 6 decent bowls out of it, or 4 fairly sizable, fill you up most of the day kind of bowls. So let's get started. Okay, so I've just chopped the leeks. I'm gonna chop the potatoes. I just skinned them alive. So now it's time to hack them into little pieces. Sorry, just kidding. Now I'm going to, all you need for this is a pot. Pretty sizable pot. Well, you actually need a hand blender, a blitzer, soup blitzer as well, but at least you don't need a slow cooker or a air fryer, but you can also use a slow cooker if you want. Anyway, I'm going to start by frying. Okay, it's not a frying pan, but I want to make everything in the, obviously you want to make everything in the same pot, so I'm going to fry the leeks and the onions to soften them with the butter now. So just making these guys soft as possible. They're getting there. It doesn't take long, 5 minutes maybe. I also left them for a few minutes without watching them. It smells really good. Yes. Okay, so that's sufficiently mushy. Now I'm going to add the potatoes, chicken stock, lots of salt and pepper, and let it boil. And then I'm going to let it simmer for half an hour, 40 minutes, and then I'm going to blitz it, and that is it. So yeah, the liter of chicken stock is in there. The potatoes, I chopped them about this size, just easier for blitzing. I just put salt and pepper in. I have it on like a highish heat. I'm going to let it boil and then bring it down. I'm going to put the lid on it, let it boil, and then bring it down for, as I said, half an hour or 40 minutes. The last day it was fine at 30 minutes. But we'll see how it goes. Okay, that's just boiling, so I'm going to turn it down to 4 or 5, and leave it there for dirty lens. It's really difficult to make soup. It's such hard work. Wine break. Okay, that is good to go. Time to get my little pal
Taurus robot here, ready to destroy everything. Yes. And there we go. So today, I don't know if you can call this a recipe, but sure look. These avocados are going a bit south, so I want to use them. I always buy tomatoes and vines. This is the most incredible cheese ever. And here's rocket and lamb's leaf I need to use up. I normally have this with red onion as well, but I have none today, so I'll just have to go without. Okay, so I have my vegan cheese, the most amazing vegan cheese made with coconut oil. Random. It really is so good though. In here with the lamb's leaf and the rocket, I've cut up the tomato, I have the avocado ready to scoop out, and I've got salt and pepper on everything, and now I'm going to make my dressing. Okay, and yakis are still definitely healthier than mine. But 5 avocados for 160 mini ones, and Mercadona is really good, so I can't complain. Okay, the dressing I usually always make, I kind of just wing it, and it's really good. Depends on how much time I have. Sometimes I put champagne vinegar, sometimes I put honey, sometimes I put garlic. For today, I'm just going to keep it simple. So I'm gonna squeeze half a lemon. This is quite a big lemon, so this is going to be for 2 people. Normally I would squeeze a whole lemon, but those lemons are giant, so half is enough. Okay, so lemon juice of half a lemon, pepper, salt. Sorry for the shadows. And I'm just about to use my favorite olive oil from Omed, which is Pickwell, which is like a spicy, strong olive oil. I'm gonna put a fair glug of that in here because I'm making it for 2. Now I'm gonna put a teaspoon of whole grain mustard and a teaspoon of Dijon mustard. There we go. And I'm just gonna mix that now, and the lemon will obviously, the acid will break everything down. As I was saying, you can put honey if you like it a bit sweeter. You can put wine vinegar, white wine vinegar or champagne vinegar or cava vinegar. That's also quite nice in it. Or garlic. But for now, I'm just going to keep it simple. And there we go. It's actually surprisingly filling with the avocado and cheese and the dressing because there's oil and yeah, because there's oil. But for now, that's perfect the way it is. And Iñaki had some leftover falafel, so he just cooked some. So there we go. This is a Sunday morning. Woo! So I'm making home fries. Again, not like the most difficult recipe, if it's even a recipe, but I am sharing things I make often. So this is 650, 700-ish grams of potatoes for 2 people. There I go with the frozen stuff again. That's frozen red and green peppers, loads underneath, and frozen onions. I'm going to fry them separately and throw them in at the end with the potatoes. As I cut them this way and that way to make little home fry sort of chip shapes. I boil them, parboil them, and then I fry them. While it sounds a little bit unhealthy, you don't actually need that much sunflower oil, like a tablespoon, a little bit more than a tablespoon, which is not much at all. We used to make them with like bacon, fried eggs on top with cheese and all this stuff as well. And then I used to put garlic sauce on them. So like we've definitely cut back a bit, but yes. So literally now we just make them kind of spicy. We make them with the fried onion and the peppers. And sometimes I put garlic sauce. I think Iñaki puts mustard sometimes. And yeah, much more simple, but still just as filling. Just the way I prepare the potatoes, I cut them. It's only a little small new potato. I cut it in half. Then I cut this in half and crossways, like a cross. And that's the perfect size for home fries. Alright, so they're done. I'm just going to leave them to dry for a few minutes. When I put them in the pan, they won't get all crispy. And in the meantime, I'm going to fry these with some chili flakes and some garlic salt. It takes 2 seconds. I actually use a small pot as opposed to a pan, so I'm just going to do this in the meantime. It'll just take a second. Right, so they're back in the bowl. I have a large skillet heating up here. Just going to wait till it's fairly hot before I put the oil on. I use this big one so the potatoes can space out and kind of sit in the oil bath for a while. You don't really have to worry about them. When I'm making these, I tend to put the potatoes down, give it a bit of a shake in the oil, leave them there to cook on that side for a while, just be patient. And then after a few minutes, come back and give them a flip. Give them a shake, the whole pan a shake, so it can crisp up another side. I usually season them a lot halfway through, salt and pepper and garlic salt. And towards the end, I throw the peppers and everything back in. And as I was saying, you want to make sure they're dry so that they crisp up in the oil. It looks like so much more, but that is literally just a tablespoon and a half of sunflower oil. Right, I'm going to give them a shake now, which is so hard to do when filming with just two hands. So I just flipped those, and you can see a lot of them are getting nice and crispy and brown. So again, I just put a little small layer of salt and pepper on, a pinch of each, and I'm going to leave them again for another 5 or 6 minutes, and then flip them again. Yes, they look good. It's nearly time to throw this in. And as I was saying, we're not having it with bacon or poached egg or garlic sauce anymore, but we do have some provolone cheese left, so I'm going to cut up a little bit of this to put on top. So there we go. I use pretty big bowls, so it looks like a small portion, but there's a lot. I'm just going to put the provolone on top. And I'm going to mix that all in to melt. Yes.